Good morning everyone. Welcome to the English class. In the previous class, we learned the poem Tartary. Today, we'll see the exercises from the chapter. So before moving to the exercise part, I suggest you read the poem once again and then come back to the exercise. So let's see the first section. It's a reading comprehension exercise. Tick the correct option. 1. The speaker's throne was made of. Is it ivory, silver, gold or bronze? The speaker's throne was made of gold. In the first stanza, we can read the line, "Of beaten gold my throne." So from that line, we get the answer. The speaker's throne was made of gold. In the evening, the speaker would hear the music of the trumpeters, the harp, flute and mandolin, the evening lamps or the violin. Which is the correct option. In the second stanza, we can read the lines, "And in the evening lamps should shine, yellow as honey, red as wine, while harp and flute and mandolin made music sweet and gay." So what is the answer to this question? In the evening, the speaker would hear the music of the harp, flute and mandolin. Let's see the third question. His carriage would move through hills and rivers, Tartary's glades, the citron trees, the purple vale. In the third stanza, we read the lines, "And zebras 7 should draw my car through Tartary's dark glades." So what is the correct answer? His carriage would move through Tartary's glades. Clear? Let's move on to the next question. Section B. Match each stanza to its summary of the poem. Then write the summary in your notebooks. So you can see two columns in this table. In the left column, you can see the number of the stanza. On the right side, you can see the summary of each stanza given. You have to match up the stanza, each stanza with its summary. Let me read out the summary given in the right side column. A. The speaker imagines his meal times and the evenings he would spend with shining lamps and beautiful music. You have to find out which stanza describes this summary. You have to match that with the column on the left. The speaker sings praises of Tartary, which has hills and forests, lakes and seas, and citron trees in purple valleys. So find out which stanza describes this. The speaker imagines what his bed and throne would be made of, and the animals which would live in his kingdom. And D. The speaker imagines riding through Tartary in a car pulled by zebras, wearing a beaded robe and holding a scimitar. So read the poem once again and try to find out which stanza describes each of these summary given here, and then you have to match the left and right side columns. Please do this as an activity now. Pause the video, finish it and come back. Hope you are done with that exercise. Now let's read each stanza one by one and see the summary. Stanza 1. If I were Lord of Tartary, myself and me alone, my bed should be of ivory, of beaten gold, my throne, and in my court should peacocks flaunt, and in my forest tigers haunt, and in my pools great fishes slant their fins athwart the sun. So what is the summary of this stanza? The speaker imagines what his bed and throne would be made of and the animals which would live in his kingdom. Clear? Now let's see the second stanza. If I were Lord of Tartary, trumpeters every day to all my meals should summon me, and in my courtyards bray, and in the evening a lamp should shine, yellow as honey, red as wine, while harp and flute and mandolin made music sweet and gay. So what is the summary of this stanza? The speaker imagines his meal times and the evenings he would spend with shining lamps and beautiful music. Let's see the third stanza. If I were Lord of Tartary, I would wear a robe of beads, white and gold and green. They would be and small and thick as seeds. And earth should wane the morning star. I would don my robe and scimitar. And zebras 7 should draw my car through Tartary's dark glades. What is the summary of this stanza? The speaker imagines riding through Tartary in a car pulled by zebras, wearing a beaded robe and holding a scimitar. Let's see stanza 4. Lord of the fruits of Tartary, her rivers silver pale. Lord of the hills of Tartary, glen, thicket, wood and dale. Her flashing stars, her scented breeze, her trembling lakes like formless seas, her bird delighting citron trees in every purple way. So that's stanza 4. What is the summary of this? The speaker sings praises of Tartary, which has hills and forests, lakes and seas, and citron trees in purple valleys. So I hope you got the correct matches. Now let's move on to the next section. C. Think and answer. The speaker imagines himself to be a very wealthy king in a very beautiful kingdom. Find at least 3 phrases from the poem that tell you he is very wealthy, and 5 phrases from the poem that tell you his kingdom is very beautiful. So this one you have to do as an activity now. Please pause the video, finish the exercise and come back. So this one you have to do as an activity now. The first question is to find out at least 3 phrases from the poem which indicate that the boy described in the poem as the king, he is very wealthy. You have to find at least 3 phrases which indicate that he is very wealthy. The second question is to find out 5 phrases. You have to find out at least 5 phrases from the poem which describes the beauty of the kingdom of Tartary. So you do this as an activity now. Please pause the video, finish it and come back. Hope you are done with that exercise. Now let's discuss the answers. So at least 3 phrases from the poem that tell you he is very healthy. Let's see 3 phrases from the poem. My bed should be of ivory. Of beaten gold my throne, I would wear a robe of beads. So these are lines from stanza 1 and stanza 3. These describe how wealthy the king is. Now question B. Are these 5 phrases from the poem that describes the beauty of the kingdom of Tartary. So here are a few phrases. You can write any of the 5 phrases. Peacocks flaunt, lamps should shine, river silver pale, flashing stars, scented breeze, trembling lakes and bird delighting citron trees. We can write any 5 phrases from the list. Hope you got them right. Now, the next section is appreciating the poem and it talks about imagery. We have already talked about imagery. Imagery is the use of words to describe things that can be heard, smelled, touched or tasted. So let's read the note given there. The poet has used words that create vivid pictures in our minds. That's about the magic of imagery. As you read through the lines, you'll be able to see a beautiful, clear picture of these lines in your mind. That is about the magic of imagery. As you read through these lines, you'll be able to see a clear, beautiful picture of what is described in these lines. You can even feel what is described in these lines. So let's continue reading. Imagery is the use of language to represent things that can be seen, heard, touched, tasted and smelled. In this poem, the poet has skillfully used beautiful words to describe the splendor of Tartary. His use of colorful adjectives makes his imagery effective. In the first stanza, the image is of an ivory bed and a gold throne, peacocks dancing and great fishes in a pool that glint in the sun. In the second stanza, the imagery is of trumpets blowing to summon the speaker, the lord of Tartary for his meals, illumination of his courtyard with red and yellow lamps, and the sound of the flute, mandolin and lyre for speaker's entertainment. Now there's a question given below this note. Discuss in class the most striking imageries in the third and fourth stanzas. Now read the poem once more for examples of sight, sound, smell, touch and taste and fill in the table. So now let's see which are the striking imageries described in the third and fourth stanzas. Robe of beads which are white, gold and green. 7 zebras drawing his car, dark glades, rivers silver pale, flashing stars, scented breeze, trembling lakes, formless seas, bird delighting citron trees, purple veil. As you read these words, you'll be able to see a clear picture of what is described through the words. So the use of words in such a way is called imagery. Now there is a second part to the question. Read the poem once more for examples of sight, sound, smell, touch and taste and fill in the table. In the next page, page number 95, you can see this table. And in one column, the different senses are given and one column each for each stanza is given. You have to find imageries from the poem which are related to sight, sound, smell, touch and taste. A few examples are already given here. In the first stanza, you'll be able to see imagery related to sight, which is a golden throne, peacocks dancing. These are imageries that describe something related to sight, something you can see. And the second stanza, you can read the words musicians playing the trumpet, harp, mandolin, flute. So that is something you can hear. So these are imageries related to sound. And you can see a few more examples. Similar to this, you have to find out other imageries from the poem and fill in this table. You can do this as an activity now. Please pause the video, finish it and come back. Hope you are done with that. Now let's see which are the other imageries described in the various stanzas. The first stanza, you can see a golden throne, peacocks dancing, which are related to sight. In the second stanza, the imageries related to sight are lamps shining, yellow as honey. You may be able to find out more imageries, but just a couple are enough here. Now, in the third stanza, you can see white, gold and green, beads, dark glades. In the fourth stanza, you can see rivers, silver pale, purple veil. And the imagery is related to sound. In the second stanza, it was already given there, musicians playing trumpet, harp, mandolin, flute. And there are no imageries related to sound in the first, third and fourth stanzas. Now, smell. In the fourth stanza, you can read a phrase, a scented breeze. That is one related to smell. The third stanza, you can see rob of beads, sharp scimitar. So that is something you can touch and feel. In the fourth stanza, you can read the words fruits and citron trees. And citron is a fruit which belongs to the citrus family, like a lemon. So that is something you can taste. So fruits and citron. These are words which are related to taste. I hope you got them correct. Now let's move on to the next section. It is about the values and life skills for a leader. So it's about leadership qualities. Who is a leader? A leader is someone who can lead people. Someone who can guide us through and show us a path, like a role model. Now here, there is a question. A leader is usually an instrument of change. So he is someone who can bring about a change to others. So he is someone who can bring about a change in the society, a change in the lives of other beings. Tick the qualities a leader should possess and discuss with your elbow partner. So here, a few qualities are listed. You have to tick which are the qualities needed in a leader. You do this as an activity now. Please pause the video, finish it and come back. Hope you are done with that. Now, let's see which are the qualities or the leadership qualities. A great leader should have resourcefulness. It is the ability to find and implement quick and clever ways to get out of a situation, to deal with a situation. A good leader should also have honesty, and it said honesty is the best policy, and he should also be a kind person. So he should have kindness. A great leader should have empathy. To be able to empathize with someone means that you're able to feel their thoughts and emotions from their point of view. So a good leader should have empathy and should also be intelligent. He should have intelligence. Now, let's move on to the next section. It is the writing exercise and it's about poem writing. Look how the poet uses imagery in the poem Tartary. He could have written, I would wear a robe and have a sword, but he wrote, I would don my robe and scimitar. He could have written, sit in a car, but instead he wrote, and zebras 7 should draw my car. And he could have written, and ride through Tartary, whereas he wrote, through Tartary's dark glades. So which ones do you think sounds better? Which sounds better? Now write your own poem using imagery. If I were the king or queen of your island kingdom. Here in this exercise, they're trying to talk about the beauty of using imagery in poems. Instead of using simple words to describe something, the poet brilliantly uses imagery so that the poem is more beautiful to read and listen to. And here in this exercise, you're asked to write a poem of your own. Remember the warm-up session we had in the beginning of the chapter, Tartary? So there in that section, in the warm-up section, you were asked to imagine that you found a new island and that you are the new ruler of this new place. Remember that? Imagine that situation once again, and you have to write a poem about it. And you can start your poem with the line, if I were the king of this kingdom, or if I were the queen of this kingdom. Get creative and do this as an activity, as a homework activity for the day. Now let's move on to the next section, my word bank. Write the new words that you have learned in this poem. So in the textbook itself, you could see a few words highlighted in red, and the meanings of these words were also given in the textbook. You have to note down these new words as well as their meanings in your notebook. Learn to pronounce them and learn how to make up sentences using these words. And a few more words may be new to you. Let me read out those words to you. Flaunt, haunt, slant, summon, vein, scimitar, glades, thicket, formless, vein. You have to write down these new words also in your notebook. You have to find out their meanings and pronunciation from the dictionary. Also, write sentences using the words given here. So let me remind you, what is your homework for the day? You have to complete the writing exercise and also the My Word Bank exercise. So we have come to the end of this chapter, Tartary. Hope you enjoyed learning the poem and doing the exercise part. So we'll meet in the next class with a new chapter. Till then, bye.